What are you giving that has something to do with profit, that just is going to give you pleasure? And of course, this was inspired by us watching Scrooge last night.
Oh, that's right.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's the nicest thing that anyone's ever done for me.
I would love to come on every week and be super positive, super optimistic about all things business and how, everything is rainbows and unicorns. When I listen to podcasts of top influencers, whomever your choice of...
the Lord of the Rings podcasts. I like those ones.
Whatever leadership icons you feel you want to listen to, they share things that have happened that didn't work. And basically, in a very nice way, they say, cut it out. We're not at that level to be able to do that, but we do talk straight away.
I kind of have more respect for our audience, that you all are here listening to us because you are intelligent enough and have enough common sense that we don't need to tell you you're a 7-year-old to cut it out. What we want to do is we do attempt to inspire you and share with you mistakes we've made or we have seen so that all of us can learn from those. Our podcast at Simple Sense for Small Business is all about you being a small business owner and deriving both pleasure and profit from that experience. Welcome to Simple Sense for Small Business. We're recording this about a week after Thanksgiving, and it is the season of giving. Lynn, what are you giving to yourself as a small business owner? What are you giving to your employees, your staff? What are you giving to your customers? And when I say giving, part of our spirit of giving, since we launched our COVID-19 EIDL business in March of 2020, from early days, a big part of our fundamental philosophy was how can we give back to people based on the knowledge and experience that we have.
This is the broken record segment of our show where we've seen for 21 months how business owners have managed their own EIDL loan to sustain, survive, and thrive beyond COVID and the mishaps and mistakes and so utter confusion. And we're trying to shed some light because there are ways to improve upon systems and process. And when you do that, and when you pay attention and carefully review, then you're going to have more pleasure because you're going to flatten the learning curve.
So that's something you could give yourself. It's the end of the year, and are you doing your end of the year analysis on those things, systems and processes and profitability? And that will help you move into your new year maybe with a renewed spirit for your business and your pleasure and your profitability.
This time of year and everything going on in the world, we need to find joy anywhere, anyhow we can. And part of that is banning a little bit of the helplessness that comes about that we see when people just don't get resourceful enough to manage their business.
So this sounds like another gift you can give yourself.
Yes. Thank you for turning it into a gift because
you keep veering off of topic. Our audience is not composed of people who are helpless.
No, I know that.
The folks who are helpless don't do the self-improvement work. They don't do the inspirational work. They don't do the systems work. They don't do it. They just blunder through their days. And as we often say, oh my heavens, how does this person make any money? The thing we are giving ourselves for this holiday season is a recognition that, again, and we've done this multiple times in our COVID-19 EIDL business, is that the stress and anxiety of the COVID-19 effect on a business and a business owner is very distressing, and especially if you're waiting for the Small Business Administration to get you the funding you need. What happens with us is that often a lot of folks dump their junk on our heads. Imagine your loved one is in surgery and you keep poking your head in the door and screaming at the doctor and taking out all your stress on the doctor. You would never in a million years do that, except people apparently have no filter about doing that with us. So what our gift to ourselves is, we have a pact that we have decided how we will react to those moments. And essentially, a big part of it is we literally don't respond anymore. We thought we could talk people off the ledge, but we can't. We're not here to do that. So that's our gift to ourselves.
But that's to the point of, what's the saying? Preach what you teach, what you preach. What is it?
Walk the talk.
Walk the talk. Yeah, that's it.
Practice what you preach.
That's it. That's what we've had to do.
Give yourself a moment to reflect on how through this year, if you have done that, pleasure, and profit. And then what are you giving to your staff, your employees this year? And what are you giving to your customers? Can we talk about that briefly?
Oh, yeah, let's talk about that. Okay. What do you want to talk about?
One point of 3 people working with us, and that has whittled down to one person who actually has been with us since January. Not only is it Christmas season, but it's also her birthday on Tuesday, so we bought her a really cool blanket scarf.
It's really not a blanket scarf. It's a blanket that Trevor thought was a scarf.
It looks like a scarf. So we bought it from a kind of she store, and it not only is it a really beautiful and comfortable gift, but we know that our person who works for us, that she's often cold. She works from home, she works remotely, and she hates the cold. She's often chilly. So we got to her this blanket scarf to wrap wrap around herself.
But it's not just the giving of things.
It's the thoughtfulness that went into that gift.
And we're also talking about accommodating sometimes when someone needs some help or their work schedule gets a little disheveled, being compassionate and empathetic. I mean,
that's exactly where I was going with that. Thank you for bringing me back on track.
No,
so
it's fine.
Let's jump into wealth and wellness.
But no, wait. Before we jump into wealth and wellness, this is the juncture right here, what we're talking about with giving to your employees.
And your customers.
The reason why really evaluating your work environment with your employees and the culture that you've developed is because there's not an employee shortage out there that's been presented in a new dynamic because of COVID. It's a good employer shortage.
Oh, yeah.
That is why employees seem lackadaisical or uninspired or not motivated.
Or they don't want to work for you anymore.
Or they're picking and choosing and being selective on their lifestyle because they value their freedom.
It's a new paradigm. My takeaway is, so we watched Scrooge last night, the musical from 1970. The story of Scrooge and A Christmas Carol is the takeaway. The miserly, miserable dude takes away at the end is the spirit of giving. And the spirit of giving means, as I mentioned a moment ago about the blanket scarf, we'll continue that argument off podcast, there's a thoughtfulness. So what are you doing for your staff and for your customers that goes beyond a holiday discount for your customer or a bonus check for your employee? Are you doing something that's thoughtful? Like Linda just mentioned about the work environment. Are you stepping back to think, does my staff really have an ideal experience working here? And what can I do? And maybe it comes down to individuals. Maybe you have somebody who's a single mom or a dad who's working 2 jobs, or a young person who's putting herself through college. Taking a moment to think about their situation and how you can give something to them or an experience to them that will make that better. Same thing with your customers. Do you have customers who maybe are challenged with the customer journey in your business? How can you think about that outside the box?
I love this. We did do an episode on Projection 101. And what that means, it's called It's Not Me, It's You. And we talk about
I love that one.
Yeah. We talk about various things, namely me being verbally accosted by a customer or client. This was months ago. But the whole thing about, we got to get out of our own way. Well, sometimes it's really hard to get out of your own way because we're the only person we have only one mind of ourselves and what we perceive and what we think and what we feel. We kind of shove that onto other people thinking that everyone thinks the way we do, which is not the case. There's a lot of different strategies a business owner can employ, including surveying various staff or customers to get an understanding of a culture, whether it's with the staff or with employees.
And then using that information to determine what you can do to give to them during this giving season.
Well, yes, and so that it's a win-win-win. Happy employees equal happy customers equals happy boss or happy employer, happy business owner, whatever, So it's a win-win-win. And if you don't have employees, that's fine. There's still other people involved, whether it's vendors or so on, that make the business possible, that make the transaction possible. So that's where we talk about profit and pleasure, wealth and wellness, being the best you can be. And it's a work in progress. So there's going to be the learning curve at various waves of depending on what you have to figure out for your business. And lately this year, I have said, I don't know how many times, how to flatten the learning curve, because it's always coming.
Oh, we have to do that one as a podcast.
Yeah,
Flattening the learning
it's
curve.
a ebb and flows.
So let me give you a moment to take a breath and give you kudos and tell you that my commitment to you, Linda Ray, during this giving season is to be less reactive.
Put a bow on that.
Put a bow on that. And so she is Linda Ray, and I am Trevor, and this is Simple Sense for small business. And we thank you for tuning in. Make sure you subscribed and hit the thumbs up button and all those things that you do with, people you follow on YouTube and Apple Podcasts and so forth.
That would be a very giving thing to do, is hitting that thumbs up. We would appreciate it very much. And the subscribe and the little bell. Ding, ding, ding. See you next time.